Hello everybody, I hope you're having a fantabulous day, and today I'll be showing you practically everything you need to know on how to bridge fight, so you can become an epic gamer. Isn't that fun? Quick disclaimer though, all the footage of me showcasing these concepts are staged in order to show you what it looks like, but despite that fact these concepts are real. And I use almost all of them in every single bridge fight I've ever had. The video will be split into 4 sections, starting off with PvP, building, explosives, and an honorable mentions of things that should be noted. With all of that being said, let's jump into the video, and as always enjoy. So what you want to do is when running on a bridge you want to turn your screen either to the left or right, then hit them so they fall into the void. What this does is typically when fighting the way you're facing is the warp players will take KB, so by tilting your screen towards the left or right the player will take KB that way and fall into the void. Another example of this is when you're a few blocks higher than a player where you can hit them, so you want to again tilt your screen and tap their head so they take KB into the void. So the concept of suiciding is very easy to do, since all you have to do is jump off the map and hit them off. The reason why you would want to suicide is if you need to quickly final someone, or if someone's coming to your base with TNT and you don't have much on you, then suicide. Suiciding is incredibly useful, and like the last concept it's very easy to do. When suiciding you want to get as close as possible to the player to increase your chances. Now suiciding is very useful and is better if it's done on a flat bridge, since it's harder to stop. In order to stop it, what you want to do is notice if they are going to suicide. Try and notice these signals and make sure not to stand too close to where they could hit you. If you see someone's trying to suicide, you want to back away and spam blocks as shown. This will cause the player to miss you and hit the blocks instead. So when getting chased on a bridge, one of the ways to create distance is by blocking them off. This is really easy to do. When getting chased you want to turn around and place 3 blocks. This will stall them for a few seconds, which depending on the situation can help out a lot. I've done this many times in order to buy me a few seconds to break a bed. It's important to remember this only buys you a few seconds, since they'll break the wall or go around it. Block trapping is the concept of placing blocks down a bridge to make a player fall in the void. Now block trapping does not really work well on flat bridges, since you have to make that hole, so you have to get the timing down just right, but it does work really well on diagonal bridges. When block trapping on a diagonal bridge you want to make a wall so the player runs into it. Since the wall's on an angle on a diagonal bridge, if placed correctly the player will run and hit the wall, causing them to fall off. Although both ways are useful, the diagonal one is not only used more frequently, it also works better and more often in comparison. So what you want to do is place a few blocks like 1 to 4 in front of the player so they run into them. This will cause them to stop moving, which makes them easier to combo/hit. So then you just tap them off the edge, and it's as simple as that. It's important to note that this only works on relatively flat bridges. So first of, I don't know what this is called, so I'm just calling it the Nanny strat, so deal with it mate, and here's why.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
So that's why I'm calling it the Nanny strat, and unless Jub got a better name it's staying. Anyways, what you want to do is if you're getting chased, as soon as you get to an island, turn around and tap them off into the void as shown now. If you want to reverse this strat, then all you have to do is when getting close to the island, bridge up to go over them so they then can't tap you off. So wall running is where you jump off the bridge and spam blocks below you to effectively run along the wall of the bridge. Now all you have to do is get the cursor in the right position, then hold down W/D or W/R and spam right click. Wall running is used to go around walls or a lot of material on a bridge, and it's typically used to run past someone as shown. The only hard thing about this is memorizing the cursor position, so it takes a bit of practice. If you're struggling a lot to get this concept down, here's a tip, though it's less effective since it wastes a bit of your time. But what you want to do is place a block next to you, then leave the cursor on where you place the block, then spam right click and run. Block clutching is when you place a block on a bridge to save yourself from falling in the void after getting hit off. Block clutching is very useful since it can save your life. I would recommend to hotkey your blocks so you can whip them out as fast as possible. As soon as you get hit off, look down and then move your cursor and spam right click. Block clutching, like wall running, relies heavily on muscle memory, but once you get in the rhythm of it, you'll be making block clutches like there's no tomorrow. Having the high ground can assist you in several ways. One of them is being able to drop and tap. As shown, you jump to their nerd pole and tap them off the map and into the void. Another reason why you would want to build up is if you've got TNT, which you can drop down and grab the bed, which is also incredibly useful. Also, when bridging to another island, you always want to get the high ground. This way, you can drop the TNT on a bed, tap the other player off on the lower bridge below you, or drop on the bed and tap the players that are standing close to an edge into the void. So when someone has the high ground, you want to place a row of blocks. What this does is that it flattens the bridge, so it literally levels the playing field, reducing their height. After you make this new level of blocks, you want to try and build up to them, or do it again and tap them off. It is also important to note that if the player is like 16 blocks in the air, this is not as effective. So typically when you reach a base, this is assuming there's people in it, you A, get high ground, or B, you build a wall to block them off from getting to you, which buys you time and high ground. By blocking them off, you force them to have to dig through the wall, which buys you time, and the wall provides you access to high ground every time you go back to their base, which allows you to kill them via drop and tap, which is very useful. Plus that tunnel they have to go through can be constantly be refilled and done quickly, so it buys you a lot of time. Fireball jumping is like a get out of jail free card. It can give you the high ground instantly, prevent someone from following you on a bridge, and can give you high ground to escape a fight. My point is that they are super useful, and fireball jumping is super easy to do. Just run and throw the fireball below you. In a bridge fight, they're used to tap someone host building up, or break a bridge to stop someone from following you. As you might have noticed, you can basically do the same thing as fireball jumping, just with TNT, except if done correctly, a TNT jump can give more height and distance than a fireball. Another thing to do with TNT is boost yourself with it, which is used to fly past a player to break a bed, or fly towards a player on a bridge to tap them off and then break a bed. When TNT jumping, as soon as you place it down, you want to run in front of it by 3, since it detonates on 4. so most of you might know this already, but what you can do is when you get a fireball, you can throw it in front of you, so it makes a hole in the bridge, so the player jumps in it, or it makes them turn around and fight you, since they've got nowhere to run. So there's just some things I wanted to mention, all things that should be noted. So to begin, so in concept -1 I told you how you can hit players from the side. What you can do is build like 2 blocks above them to create a situation where you can tap their head, which knocks them into the void. Another thing is, don't shift when fighting on a bridge. Contrary to the belief, they don't actually make your hitbox smaller. The only thing it does do is make it easier for you to get comboed, so don't do it. Playing on a higher sensitivity helps you out a lot, not just in PvP, so I recommend playing on a higher sensitivity so you can pull off easier and quicker block clutches. Also, you want to keybind your blocks to anything convenient, since you need to pull out your blocks as soon as you get it off. I recommend F, G, or side buttons on a mouse. Also, practice makes perfect, especially since most of the stuff is muscle memory, which literally means the more you do it, the better you get at it. So practice. In my opinion, one of the best ways to practice bridge fighting is the bridges duels. Since it's all bridge fighting, which is what makes it such a good place to practice in. Also, I've seen people do this before, but if you're getting chased on a bridge, don't put TNT behind you, because it will just boost the player behind you forward, making them get closer to you. If you want to get the high ground in the fastest way possible, bridge wise, you want to learn to speed bridge. This way you can get the high ground faster and tap the other player off before they get to you. I mean this by when you bridge to a person's base. Just to be clear, with all those things being noted, I believe that wraps this video up. I hoped you learned something, because I put a lot of effort into thinking about almost everything a player would do in a bridge fight. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.